So one more thing before we finish this piece off is, how do you know this this piece is in C major versus C minor? Okay, versus C minor, and this is a fair question. Because so far all we have is G, D, F, F, C, C again, and G, right? So we don't really even need these notes because they're just repeating these. So from these, we don't really have the crucial information. The difference between C major, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then minor, which is all you take the same notes, right? And then you just flat the E, the third, flat the sixth and the seventh, right? So you got F, G, A flat, and B flat. And then C. The difference between these is simply the E, the A, and the B, which we don't have any of, right? So how do you know? Well, if you look over here, we do, but like that doesn't really matter. And here we have D and A. But before we get there, we should already know within the first, like, at least this part, like what key we're in, if we're in a major key or not. And so there is a way, which also might, if you look here with this note, we talked about how this is an E last time and not an E flat or anything. So we kind of already know it's going to be this one. But if this note is ignored, kind of like what I like to play, when I play this, I usually just do the 6 there and ignore the 5. But even without that, how do you know? Well, the easiest part that I can think of is in the what am I trying to say? In the vocal line. There we go. In the vocal line. So as soon as your intro is done, which is like this, and then C, da 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 da, chicka chicka, da 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 da, and then it repeats. You get here, and then the first note is here, and it goes all the small things, right? And if you want to know what those notes are, really simple is just write it here. I'll put it in treble clef and then way up just so we can see it really easily. So he's singing these notes, all the small things like this. So he's going here, 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 here. Okay. Maybe there's a rest here. So all the rest, small thing, dot, dot, rest, rest, small thing. Maybe this is 2 rests there. Sorry about the rhythm. Going a little quick here. I hope that makes sense though. Okay, so we have E and C. So the first thing, he hits this chord, which is an open chord. And then he just he plays the melody. And then it switches to G. And then plays B. Like that. Okay, and then F. And he repeats this. So the melody is just repeated over and over, okay? So here, we have the notion that it's not going to be, we don't know if it's going to be A flat. It still might be an A flat, but we already know B is natural, so that can't be. We already know E is natural, so that can't be. So between this, and down here, and other melody stuff, these are really good signs that it's in the key of C major. Okay, so that's really useful. Just as a side note, your notes in C major is C, E, and G, right? So your notes that he's starting with is simply 2 of those notes out of there, and that's what he does for the first chord. As soon as the chord changes, he's going here to G, which is G, B, or D, and he does use that B note, right? With the F chord, arguably, remember this is now repeating to the second one. So arguably here with F, he's using F material, even though he's using E. Remember we said F could be F, A, C, E if we wanted to make it a 7th chord, just like this one over here. Okay, so technically the E fits, and then the C, of course, is the C right there. And then same thing here, this G is the same as that, is the same as this, okay? So it's really kind of derived from the chord progression, even the melody. And the melody, you could argue, is relatively simple. But you can see how there's elegance in this simplicity. And I hope when you write your music and you analyze other people's music, that you'll kind of appreciate that. Music doesn't have to be complicated to be really good and memorable. It needs to be clear and elegantly put together. They say it's much more difficult to write a simple song than a complex song. Simple is really, really cool if you can do that. So anyway, so I wanted to just show that why it's C major and not C minor, and how you can figure that out.